I'm on mute. Hi everyone. Hi everyone. Hi everyone. Happy weekend. Happy Saturday. All gearing up for tomorrow's amazing last day of the Premier League. But usse pehle, we have to talk about some of the most important things that have happened in the like yesterday. Uh, Napoli won the Scudetto, and Scott McSauce, Scott Mac MVP has won the MVP player in of the season in Serie A. Massive news. We'll talk about a lot of other stuff like the lot of transfer rumors that are happening. Massive news on the Manchester United front as well. Uh, Huge reports of Al Hilal absolutely going all in for Bruno Fernandes. We're going to talk about that, and also the recent press conference and an, an Ornstein bomb that has dropped recently that Garnacho might be asked to leave Manchester United, and that's massive news. We're going to talk all these 3 points. We have a special guest as well on the stream today. Shivam is going to join the stream in a while. We're going to discuss a lot of Serie stuff. I think we need to really talk about the Italian Serie League. They have played brilliant football this season, and we're also going to talk about how Scott McTominay was completely misprofiled by Man United in the past. So we're going to talk about that. Keshav has joined the chat. Thanks, Keshav, for joining. Garnacho to Napoli. I think yes, that's gonna happen considering Kvaratskhelia has already left PSG, right? And they need players in that position. So it's massive. It's a massive news that United and Amorim are willing to sell Garnacho, and obviously we'll talk about that when more people join as well. That the recent interview that he gave around him being just only there for the 20 minutes, I think that's played a massive influence in Amorim saying that, hey, enough is enough. I think we have seen a lot more PR spin offs by your brother, by you. I think it's time we set the right culture in the club, and I think he's going to be asked to leave. Before everyone joins, before we start, we are just 15 subscribers away, guys, from reaching 100. I'm so thankful to everyone at this point. This is very overwhelming for me. I'm so happy. Within just 6 days of starting this channel, um, we're gonna reach 100 soon. If you haven't checked out the recent video I did on Ruben Amorim, you can also check out. It's on my channel. What financial costs Man United had to bear once they lost in the Europa League final. So go do check out that video. And we're just 15 subscribers away from reaching 100. The target is 500, guys. The target is 500, but I'm really thankful and appreciative of everyone who has subscribed and liked all my content I've been producing for the few days. Thanks for joining the live stream as well. We have 9 people watching today. We'll wait for a few more minutes. We have uh, Shivam joining today in the stream. He's one of the members in Discord, but like a really nice guy, but also has a lot of knowledge on Syria. So we'll do check out. We'll do talk about him around how the Syria has absolutely improved. So yeah. And speaking about one of the biggest news that have come in is Scott McTominay has won the MVP in Serie A. And that's a massive news, and that's absolutely yeah, I'll take some comments. Okay, guest is Shivam. He's gonna join. We're gonna talk about Syria today in the stream. Yeah, and talking about Syria, I think it's time the fans of Premier League and fans all across different leagues have to break their bubble, especially Manchester United fans, right? Especially Manchester United fans, that they need to come out of their bubble and watch other leagues, and Serie is one of them. And a prime example of how a player that has left your club has absolutely taken the league apart in another league, right? Has gone into won the Scudetto and has won the MVP of the season. That's massive growth trajectory. That is what we talk about mentality. When people used to question that whether Scott McTominay is good enough to play for Manchester United in terms of mentality, I completely had disagreed with this. There was a time that Eric Ten Hag also had disagreed with this statement, but we'll also come to that on how the likes of Mourinho, the likes of Ole, Rangnick, and even Eric Ten Hag, for whom he was one of the top strikers in one of the seasons, um, absolutely misprofiled the guy. Absolutely misprofiled. And look where Conte has taken him, how Conte has brought the best out of him. Look at what he's done today at Napoli, scoring absolute bangers. If you haven't checked out his goal yesterday, do go and check out. It is it is a beautiful goal. Like, technically so good. The cross came in from Politano, and he did a scissor kick to win the Scudetto for Napoli, and that's massive news. I think we need to talk about this. But one of the biggest news that is coming on at this point, with regards to this, is a breaking news, guys. This is a massive news that, considering how United have played recently in the Europa League final, I think this news was coming. Bruno was absolutely heartbroken, and I won't blame him if this is going to happen. Breaking news, guys. I think everyone knows this, that Al Hilal has given Bruno and Man United the ultimatum, right? He's given them the ultimatum that we're gonna put this bid. This is the salary. This is the structure. We have until end of May to respond. So as you can see, the package, the transfer fee that Al Hilal is looking to give Bruno, so to Man United for Bruno Fernandes, is 100 million euros, and with a basic salary of up to 700,000 a week. 700,000 a week. That is unheard of. Just imagine the amount of money you can make, close to 2.5, 2.8 million per month. And 60, so the total annual salary coming up to 65 million euros, including sign-on fee and bonuses. This is generational wealth, guys. Will Bruno take a decision that enough is enough? I've done all I can to make Man United champions and win something significant, have some stability. But we have, I think Man United fans can say, and we can say, that we have failed you. We have failed Bruno Fernandes. Yes, some performances this season were questionable, but overall the years that Bruno has played, I think we can absolutely say that we have failed you, Bruno. And I will not be annoyed if you leave, even if for free at this point. Right now, Man United as a club is rotten to the core, and I don't know why he would like to stay. He had conversations before last year with the owners. There was a conversation that, do they want him for the project? Is he fit to play for United? He was on the verge of leaving last season, not to Saudi, but definitely a lot of bigger clubs were absolutely in for him. And this is a massive development that has happened, um, in this news. So before we go into, we'll talk about more what impacts Bruno can have in the season. We have Shivam. On the stream. I'm gonna add him. We're gonna talk about.
Yo,
Hey
I,
Shivam, how are you? कैसे हो आप?
I'm good. I'm doing good, Ash bhai. आप बताइए कैसे हैं? How's everything going? How's the
Ev-
chat?
Everything is great, man. Everything is great. I hope, you're absolutely fine. I'm gonna switch the
Yep.
layout a bit. Ah, yes, we're gonna be up close. We're gonna take some comments. पहले comments ले लेते हैं, फिर then we'll talk about the Serie A league. I think we need to talk about how Serie A is improving, how Serie A needs to be in the pedestal of a lot of European, at least in the Premier League fan base, that watch them, see them, how they're doing. It's absolutely necessary. Devesh Bolder, thanks Devesh for joining. Perfect replacement for Bruno. The only player worthy the only player worthy to join Man United and replace Bruno is Cole Palmer. That's the only place I will go. Only player I would go for. Rex Bowler Yellow. Thanks for joining. Hello, River Plate
Thank you.
fan Shivam Bhai. Yes, the one who represents
Nice.
South American football. Good to have you on the show, man. I really appreciate you joining. Rex Bowler, Goat, McTominay at it again. What a scissor kit! Absolutely fantastic scissor kit. थोड़ा और comments ले लेते हैं, then we'll jump straight to it. Tracy is here. Tracy, thanks for joining. Tracy, really appreciate you joining us. But yeah, Shivam, what would you make of Napoli's season this far? Like last season, they were 10th, right? And to jump from 10th to be champions. I mean, is it just Antonio Conte producing the best of from these players? Or are we looking at no, these players are absolutely good enough and have overperformed from their ability from their current abilities. What do you think about this?
I think as well, if you look at Napoli from a perspective, from a city perspective, then Naples as a city, agar aap baat karoge, so that's
Hmm.
a city which is very much passionate about football. So generally, what happens, the majority chunk of Italian football is, it's situated towards the northern side, and in northern part को काफी favor करते हैं, and the southern part of Italy is often looked upon as some derogatory places because there were initial reports in the past 90s or 80s that Naples was big called as cholera because of too
Hmm.
many rats and everything. So they have that social cultural economic issue. That's why whenever Naples do well, they celebrate it pretty well. So this kind of a win is very important for a city like Napoli. And now, if you are saying how has the season went for, their season has definitely went. मतलब बहुत ही अच्छा season गया. Like you have mentioned a word, have these players overperformed? I think overperformed could be a word which can be used if a player overperforms like एक 10-11 मैचेस का एक रन आता है
Hmm.
उसमें, बट अगर आपका पूरा सीजन वो अच्छा कर रहा है and not just one, there are multiple players, if they are doing well, then credit needs to go to the manager and to the support staff who has produced, who has made this system work for these certain players.
Great.
Now talking about Antonio Conte, now he is that kind of a personality which he is a very split personality. Like if you will give him league, यानी आप अगर आप उस उंगली नहीं करोगे यार, कह दोगे कि यार ट्वाइस अ वीक या थ्राइस अ वीक नहीं खेलना है, तो मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम्स गारंटीड आपको बंदा लीग निकाल के देगा. बट विद एंटोनियो कॉन्टे देयर आल्सो कम्स अ लॉट ऑफ एक्सेसिव बैगेज एज वेल. लाइक इस
Right.
सीजन में हमने देखा कि वो नेपोली में थे, सो उन्होंने बीच बीच में लड़ाई कर ली थी एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन से. उन्होंने कहा था कि लाइक ही वाज ओपनली डिस्कसिंग हिज मूव टुवर्ड्स यूवेंटस. सो दीस आर द थिंग्स व्हिच कम्स विद एंटोनियो कॉन्टे, एंड फ्रॉम नाउ where does this Napoli project go? No one has any idea because Conte most likely is leaving for Juventus. So what will happen to Napoli? The future is still uncertain. But if you talk specifically about this season, then credits to them and credits to Antonio Conte for what he has done from this squad. Definitely
Right.
they have spent, but the kind of players which have played and which they have performed is absolutely incredible.
But this is where I'm very surprised there, Shivam. Ki, why would Conte want to leave right now that Napoli is now right now the champions? They're going to get some players they have scouted before as well. Like let's say Garnacho rumors are really true right now for Napoli, right? So why would Conte like to leave a project right now when they're absolutely qualifying for the Champions League? I know Champions League mein Conte ki history is not the best, right, in European competitions, but is it the right time according to you for Conte to leave, or why do you think he would like to go to Juve at this point?
I think Ash bhai, the thing is the key jab Conte when he was in Napoli and when that Kvaratskhelia transfer happened, then from then onwards you can see some of those sparks between De Laurentiis and Conte. First of all, De Laurentiis and Conte as a marriage, it lasted this long and it eventually ended up reaping the reward. That is itself a very big thing because those two are the, those two big personalities. We all know how hard it is to deal with De Laurentiis, and the same goes with Antonio Conte. So ever since that Kvaratskhelia transfer happened, Antonio Conte has been publicly speaking कि I want these kind of players, I want my personal profile of players. And now, a couple of weeks ago, we have also gotten some of the reports that Antonio Conte demands at least 6 to 7 signings, and the salary cap needs to be increased, and the
Right.
wage structure needs to be increased. And even before leaving, Antonio Conte has hinted in previous press conferences that we don't know whether our chapter will last long or not. So he was basically making his mind, okay, this is my year, and if this is me, this is who I am. If I'll do, it will be good for me, it will be good for the city. But after that, I want to go back to you. We're not talking about when you asked why does he want to go back to Juventus. I think
Right.
there's still some unfinished business which Antonio Conte needs to do at Juventus, because during his first spell of Juventus, when he won 3 Scudettos, he always wanted to build something bigger at Juventus. And as
Mhm.
a player, as a Juventino, he always loved his club. He's a boyhood Juventino, by the way. Antonio Conte was an incredible player. So Antonio Conte wants to finish that unfinished business. And the way by which Antonio Conte left in Juventus, that was also very sour. In fact, he has left every single club on a very sour note. He tried to come back to Juventus a couple of years ago as well, when Agnelli was in charge of their board, but Agnelli denied his return because of some certain reasons and because of some attitude issues. So
Right.
now Juventus job is completely open. It is vacant because Igor Tudor is an interim manager. Conte thinks that it is the perfect opportunity to take over that project.
Yep. And Conte has played some absolutely insane seasons at Juventus. I think there was one season where they only conceded like 14 or 18 or 20, hardly 20 goals, and 102-point
Yeah,
season they
yeah,
had before he joined Chelsea, right? And
yeah,
absolutely, you're bang on there. That he has had his rift with the board because he demands way more. Somewhat I agree, but I think he also needs to understand the status of the club, the financial state the clubs are in. I think he needs to understand which project he is in as well. But having said that, I think let's keep aside the off the pitch shenanigans of Conte. Let's talk about on the pitch. What we saw yesterday, at least from Napoli, when I saw the whole game, right, and I was absolutely impressed on how he has used Billy Gilmour. I mean, let's talk about Lobotka, right? Lobotka has been one of the best central midfielders in
yeah,
Europe, hands down, right? This age, a lot of fans on Twitter, like they're just going nuts, like, oh, iska age ye hai, why he will not be able to perform in any league, which I disagree. Italian Serie A is still a good enough league. Napoli is a champion. Let's give it to that. What do you think about how he has transformed Billy Gilmour, considering he just came for like hardly 12 million euros, if I'm not wrong? What's your opinion on that?
yeah. I think the biggest important factor in this Napoli's title win is, in fact, your midfield only, because the midfield has been extremely hardworking. Because Conte likes those midfielders who are extremely hardworking. They can do ball recoveries, they can run for the team. And Billy Gilmour has been on and off, but throughout the season, Antonio Conte has molded him into perfect roles, either in double pivot or as an advanced eight, or sometimes also playing him as a floater just to connect between the midfield and the attack. So he has given Billy Gilmour a very versatile role, because even in
Right.
Chelsea Academy, Billy Gilmour was playing in that particular fashion, and in Brighton he wasn't able to cut it because of some other players. So
Right.
he has definitely transformed Billy Gilmour. Lobotka का आपने जैसे बात किया,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what Lobotka is doing in Serie A, that is brilliant. Like, I haven't, मतलब मैंने तो नहीं सोचा था कि फाबियन रुइस को इतना इजीली ये लोग रिप्लेस कर देंगे, because Lobotka, he is the main, the controller in the midfield, जो calmness लाते हैं midfield में, and such a beautiful player to watch. जो यूरोस का गेम हुआ था, that England versus Slovakia game,
Yep.
Lobotka was everywhere. He was the guy who was completely troubling that English midfield.
Yep.
So that
Midfield
was one
general.
moment जहाँ पे आप हाँ पता चला कि what Lobotka is, and throughout this season, तो obviously he has been brilliant, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think coming back to Scott McTominay, right? I think we need to speak about Scott McTominay here. Like, I think he's clutch pro max for the Serie A. I think wo United. I'm not gonna praise United at this point because I have a lot of things to say on how Scott McTominay was so misprofiled at Man United. I cannot speak enough about when we saw him darting. He was more of a box to box who can drive the ball. He has really good drive he eats the pitch, and and I'm gonna show an interesting stat here, right? I'm gonna show something interesting here is something that's very very vital. Let me add to the stage here, right? Scott McTominay. I'm gonna add you as well there. Yes. So as you can see here, right? MVP award, it's massive, right? Coming straight into your first season in Serie A, getting the MVP award, right? 12 goals and
Yeah,
6 assists in the league. 30.5 million euros transfer for Man United. I think a lot of people question that, is he worth that much? Everyone can see right now. He is 90th percentile in take-ons and 94th percentile in attacking positions. And that says a lot about the player, that how he absolutely darts into the box, gets into that position. And he has, if I'm not wrong, Shivam, he, from his 12 goals, at least 8 to 9 goals were match winners, were potential match winners,
Yeah,
match winning goals. So
yeah.
that's the impact we're talking about. What has been your assessment on Scott McTominay?
I mean, brilliant season from Scott. I mean, even I haven't expected कि बंदा इतना अच्छा कर जाएगा. The the biggest thing जो आपने अभी बोला ना कि he has scored like 8 or 9 match winning goals. That was one of the big reasons in this Napoli's team success, because
Right,
Napoli, we always associate Napoli as a team who play very attacking, very exciting football from the days of Walter Mazzari to Maurizio Sarri. This
right.
season was different. Napoli had gritted out some very good 1-0, 1-0, 2-1 sort of wins. And on sabhi wins mein Scott McTominay's contribution was very good, very immense. And जो stats में बोला कि 84 percentile in attacking positions and 90 percentile on take-ons. For a midfielder in the entire league who arrives late in the box, that is a very good number. That is very good percent. मतलब आपसे ऊपर 15 to 16 percentile के ही players हैं, and 10
Exactly.
से 11 percentile के players आपसे take on मैच हैं. So
Yeah,
एक तो चीज है and McTominay की, and there's something with Antonio Conte that he develops those box to box attacking midfielders brilliantly. We remember from Juventus Arturo Vidal, he used
yep,
to absolutely smash probably top 5 top 6 midfielders उसने वर्ल्ड में. चेल्सी में वो गए, चेल्सी में निमानिया मार्टिच के साथ उन्होंने वो काम किया. मार्टिच के आई थिंक 10-11 असिस्ट थे उससे, and now again
absolutely.
in Napoli with Scott McTominay. So
Yeah.
brilliant man, what a season from McTominay.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is something I would like to mention. Like when McTominay was first discovered at Man United, right? Under Jose Mourinho, right? And this is an prime and I'll and keep me honest here. One example I would like to give is the John Obi Mikel syndrome that happened with Mourinho, right? You see where I'm going, right? John Obi Mikel's
Yeah,
original profile was a cam. He was a central attacking midfielder. He converted him, molded him into a central defensive midfielder, holding midfielder. Did it turn out so great for John Obi Mikel? Questionable. That's exactly what I'm trying to mention. Is it's all started from there. That McTominay was asked to play a deep holding midfielder slash destroyer kind of role because of his whole demeanor. Maybe he was completely
yeah.
misprofiled there, and then it went to Ole. Now, I don't. What I would say is that why Ole misprofiled him is our backline was not that stable. I think he needed more stability right in the midfield to protect the backline. That's what again he was plugged into central defensive midfield, which I still didn't agree because I have seen that ability that he can absolutely score from outside the box and also dart in the box. Same happened in the Rangnick. Rangnick didn't even trust him. Now with Eric Ten Hag played him in a very different role. I think he used to plug him more as a that you can absolutely get into the box, but he did not play him much. He was not trusted enough. But in one of the seasons, he was one of the top scorers of Man United. And then I
अरे
think
वो
when yeah,
वो वाला एक सीजन था ना जिसमें ही स्कोर्ड सम रैंडम विनर्स, वो ब्रेंटफोर्ड के अगेंस्ट आप लोग हार रहे थे, एंड
yep,
देन उसके बाद वो बंदा आके 2 गोल मार के मैच जिता दिया.
absolutely.
दैट वाज द सीन आई थिंक.
So this is
या,
this is the ability I'm talking about, and this is where uh when he was sold, two people mentioned this really clearly. Nemanja Matic mentioned this in his Twitter post that United are making a mistake to sell a player having a mentality like McTominay. I think McTominay would have absolutely thrived under Amorim because we lacked ball carriers, and McTominay can actually do that because you can see the stats, right? He has darted into the box. Uski ball progression अच्छी है. He eats the blade as we eats the grass as we call it. And this is so disappointing to me that we lost out on such a great player, Man United, that went on to absolutely transform Napoli in a completely different role. No, he's not even playing in a pivot. He's that left center midfield who's just gonna dart
या.
in the box, and it was so disappointing. But I'm so happy from a United perspective that players who are leaving United are going and performing so well that absolutely speaks volumes about how rotten Man United have become right now.
Like if you want to even watch McTominay की वो क्यों इतना अच्छा कर पा रहा है नापोली में, you just look at those other two midfielders की उनकी पोजीशनिंग क्या होती है. Like अगर
Right.
McTominay बॉक्स में आगे जाता है सो आप देखोगे कि देयर राइट बैक जो भी उनका राइट बैक खेलता है वो आता है मिडफील्ड में टू प्रोवाइड दैट नंबर जो McTominay आगे जाते हैं पीछे छोड़ते हैं. एंड देन Zamboanguissa, Lobotka, Gilmour जो भी खेलता है he used to cover वो जो स्पेस होते हैं. So
Right.
ideally, if McTominay is that your fourth yeah, extra attacking option who makes that shadow run into the box, you have three guys to cover his back.
Huh.
That is something which never happened in Manchester United because even if let's say McTominay goes up front, then आपका midfield पूरा पीछे खुल जाता था and then everyone was like, okay, why did McTominay go ahead if he didn't score? उसने ball
Yeah.
lose किया वहां से आपका counter attack पड़ गया. So
And
these
I
are
think
the small intricacies. Yeah.
that's absolutely spot on, because there were a lot of complaints right during the ETH reign that okay, the midfield is absolutely empty. There's no movement. There's a reason, because you are playing McTominay in a role that is not supposed to play, right? When
Hmm.
he was absolutely trying to take on, you have an empty midfield where Casemiro is absolutely alone. This was absolutely happening, and this is one of the reasons that I think I think I know why McTominay was sold as well, to fund the Ugarte deal. But I think it's we are all
Hmm.
talking on hindsight. A lot of people say that, and I would not agree with the statement that no, it's just Serie A, that's why he's performing. No, I think Serie A has shown this season, and I want you to speak about this. I want you to show a reality check to all United fans as well, and all to the Premier League fans, is why right now Serie A has to be one of the leagues that are playing much more modern football today. So what's your opinion on this? Right? Where do you think Serie A going right now in terms of popularity, in terms of next season's European challenges?
I think firstly I'll address this question ki whosoever is leaving United are doing well. See, I'm not saying anything against Manchester United because obviously Manchester United is a very big stature of a club. But
Right.
एक चीज है ना कि आपका एक प्लेयर नहीं खराब हुआ, दो प्लेयर खराब हुए, तीन प्लेयर खराब हुए. You look at the list of players which have left United. Darmian is in second UCL final in 3 years. Di Maria is a PSG legend. चलो Di Maria का तो अलग केस था, वैन हाल के साथ उसमें जो भी हुआ था.
Right.
Anthony is doing well. Van Bissaka is West Ham's player of the year.
Right.
There is that guy Alvaro Carreras. ये भी आपके अकेडमी का था. I think
Right.
so. Madrid के अकेडमी से लिया था. He is
Yes.
being linked to Real Madrid. Dean Henderson has won the FA Cup. So आपके एक दो तीन प्लेयर्स खराब हो सकते हैं तो समझ में आता है ओके द प्रेशर इज टू बिग प्रीमियर लीग. नॉट एवरी सिंगल प्लेयर. इफ अगर आपका कोई भी प्लेयर नहीं परफॉर्म कर रहा है ना देन एंड इट्स आई एम नॉट इवन सेइंग कि दैट्स अ क्वेश्चन कि आपकी कोचिंग कैसे है, आपकी मैनेजरियल क्या. द बिहाइंड जो बैकरूम में जो स्टाफ्स हो रहा है लाइक वी आर लिसनिंग कि एक्स नंबर ऑफ जॉब कट्स हो गए, खाना खराब हो गया, ट्रेनिंग ग्राउंड के बाहर ये चीजें नहीं हो रही. लाइक व्हाई आर दीज रिपोर्ट्स? आपको क्या लगता है कि क्या ये सारी चीजें बाकी प्लेयर्स नहीं होती होंगी? होती होंगी,
Absolutely
बट एट
होती
अ
होंगी.
वेरी स्मॉलर लेवल होती होंगी एंड वो लीक नहीं होती. दीज आर द थिंग्स व्हिच डोंट गेट लीक्ड आउट इन पब्लिक.
आप लीक की बात करें, द लाइनअप्स आर गेटिंग लीक, मैन. द लाइनअप्स आर गेटिंग लीक्ड. I think there needs to be some really massive restructuring that needs to happen culturally from the club, right from the top to bottom.
या
एक स्ट्रक्चरल चेंज
एग्जैक्टली.
होना चाहिए culturally, where all these players, when you're seeing like Rashford potentially can take Aston Villa to a Champions League tomorrow if they
या
win against United.
रैशफोर्ड को मैं भूल ही गया. या
Rashford is going
रैशफोर्ड
to
इज
take Aston Villa potentially. वो जा सकता है. Anthony, if they win the Conference League, might potentially go to Europe. You have McTominay going to Europe again, winning the Scudetto. I mean, what more examples one needs? That the culture at Man United is so toxic at this point that any player who was being trolled right now is a world beater, is the face of La Liga. Like, look at Anthony, right? Again, another banger this weekend, right? So, yeah, I mean, from a staff perspective, and this is where I was really, really annoyed and at Amarim on the last game, and I guess everyone saw the video as well. Is there was so many things at stake. You Amarim had to pay the tickets prices of all your staff to go to the Europa League final. You understand what's going on right now. You had to really, really tinker with the midfield on that game. We end up losing 150 million euros in revenue, or even more. And now the next day we are hearing news about job cuts. 200 or something job cuts are happening at this point. There are already like so many changes. the player wages are going down, the staff wages are going down. It's going downhill. But these news, and I'm absolutely agreeing with you on this one. These things happen on a lot of the clubs, but these news don't get leaked out. And at United, culturally, I think there's some really big issues at this point. But I have another
क्या होता है
question.
ना कि
हाँ हाँ
हाँ,
बोलो बोलो.
क्या होता है ना भाई कि इफ दीज थिंग्स हैपन, मतलब बार बार कॉन्स्टेंटली अगर आपकी ये सब चीजें हो रही है, देन द प्लेयर्स इनसाइड द ड्रेसिंग रूम आल्सो लुक अपॉन दीस थिंग्स एंड लाइक कि अरे यार ऐसा हो रहा है, फिर वो मेंटली हो जाता है. बिकॉज आई रिमेंबर मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड इवन फ्रॉम द सर एलेक्स, लेट्स से जो रेगुलर्स नहीं थे,
Right,
एंडरसन, राफेल, फाबियो, कभी भी ये सब प्लेयर अगर बेंच से भी आते थे ना, फ्लेचर वगैरह बेंच से आते थे,
right,
सो यू कुड सी कि अच्छा ओके आई एम वेयरिंग दैट मैन यूनाइटेड क्रेस्ट एंड आई वांट टू प्ले, आई वांट टू गिव माय बेस्ट. एंटोनी वेलेंसिया, he has his very much technical flaws, but he was a very loyal servant to Manchester United. So
absolutely.
मतलब you can see all these players में वो grit दिखता था. अभी आप जाओगे ना देखोगे तो I don't think बहुत कम ऐसे प्लेयर्स होंगे जिनसे आप पूछो कि अच्छा ओके I want to do something good on my own, like Europa League final में आप देख लीजिए, I don't see any player जिनके मतलब था भी कि अच्छा I want to win this trophy for the club.
Absolutely.
So
And
ये
Napoli
सारी
is,
चीजें प्लेयर्स पे आती हैं.
yeah.
Yeah,
And I wanted to stress on this, that Napoli is one of the examples of how you don't need really big stars to actually win something. Like
yeah,
I'll remind the days of Sir Alex Ferguson, right? Like look at the John O'Shea's, the Darren Fletchers, the Wes Browns of
yeah,
those time. Like do you, when you see
yeah,
those players, do you see elite quality in them? No. But Wes Brown was playing a Champions League final. So
exactly.
this is the mentality I'm talking. Sometimes you need to play on the averages. Like you need to have that mentality boost to say that, hey, this is a badge I'm playing for. I need to do more than my abilities. Like look at the clutch goals that Darren Fletcher has scored in the past. John O'Shea has scored in the
Yeah,
past. Like
yeah.
these are players that you need. I think a lot of people are fixated in the transfer market discourse as well, that oh, we need to replace इस player को replace करके ये player ले आते हैं. No, you need a larger squad for the massive season that we have right now. Every team is playing every 4 days. How will you manage injuries? It पहले ऐसा नहीं रहा, right? That players used to wait for 1 week कि आराम से there's rehab time. And talking about the culture of not having even looking up to the leaders, right? And I really loved the interview that Salah had given recently at TNT, right? He said that the real reason why Liverpool is succeeding at this point is one of the that we, at least as senior players, are taking that effort, right? Taking that effort and telling the younger players to focus on rehab because we have another game in the next 4 days, and absolutely taking them to the cold shower bath, completing the rehabilitation work, absolutely getting fit. And that's why this culture, I don't think so, is set by the leaders at the club. There needs to be a massive reset. But I think big up to Scott McTominay. I think a lot of haters are absolutely, their mouths are shut at this point. And what do you think is the next step for Inter? Because I know Inter were absolutely on course to win the league. Why that drop in form happened, according to you?
I think Ashwin, it's a culmination of multiple things because Inzaghi was the first guy जिन्होंने declare किया था कि we will be going for all three trophies. Generally, no
Mm-hmm.
one does it in Italy because Italians, the top leaders at Italy, they have their own problems, still have that old mindset.
Right.
The thing with Inter is this is the final peak of some of their players.
Mm-hmm.
Like we saw in 2010 जो उनका जो टीम जीता था चैंपियंस लीग, दैट वाज देयर पीक. मतलब अगर वो लोग यहाँ पे जीत गए तो ठीक है, नहीं तो फिर उसके बाद वो क्लिफ डाउन ही है.
Right.
I'm not saying कि यहाँ से क्लिफ डाउन होगा, but the players such as Mkhitaryan, players such as Çalhanoğlu, HRB, आपके इन सब प्लेयर्स को अभी रिप्लेसमेंट मांगता है. मतलब these are the players which are now asking for replacements. Number
Right.
one. So next season से we'll see Inter getting more overhauls, more refreshed, काफी सारे, because averages उनको कम करनी पड़ेगी क्योंकि इस season Inter have struggled a lot
Right.
with injuries. मतलब
Right.
we have seen games जहां पे बास्तोनी को लेफ्ट विंग बैक भी खेलना पड़ा था, पहली चीज. एंड एक जो दूसरी चीज है कि जो इंजागी का सिस्टम आप खेलते हो, सो उसमें ना एवरी प्लेयर हैव टू कंट्रीब्यूट वेरी वेल डिफेंसिवली. सो व्हाट हैपेंड कि अगर आप लोटारो का सीजन देखोगे ना, सो लोटारो वाज जस्ट कमिंग आफ्टर कोपा अमेरिका एंड ही वाज वेरी टायर्ड. स्टार्टिंग के गेम्स में लोटारो पहले 9-10 गेम्स में नहीं खेल पा रहा था अच्छा.
Right.
The problem happened with their backups. जो backups उनके थे, Joaquin Correa was brilliant at Lazio, but this signing completely flopped at Inter. नहीं हो पाया उससे.
Absolutely.
Same for Arnautovic in 2025. कि कुछ नहीं हो पाया. तरेमी को लोग लाए थे पोर्टो से, बट तरेमी came with an injury, pubis injury था, पूरे सीजन था, and
Right.
he also didn't work out. Zielinski signing work out नहीं की. So these are the transfer 20 million spent जरूर किए, फ्री एजेंट साइन जरूर किए, बट these are the signing जो वर्कआउट नहीं कर पाए उतने अच्छे से.
Right.
असलानी का रोल डिफाइन नहीं हो पाया. So
Right.
ये सारी चीजों को अगर आप देखेंगे एंड उसके बाद फिर आप देखेंगे द काइंड ऑफ वर्क व्हिच इंजागी हैज बीन डन विद अ स्पेसिफिक 13 to 14 जो स्क्वाड का कोर है, दैट इज वेरी इनक्रेडिबल. And next season so we might see some kind of overhaul in Inter, थोड़ी सी एवरेज एज वगैरह. Yeah.
What are the transfer outgoings do you see right now at this point when it comes to Napoli and Inter both? Outgoings, like we know some of the incomings on Napoli that potentially they like KDB आने वाला है, Garnacho आने वाला है, right? I think very very strong links. What's the switch that Inter will be making, considering Mkhitaryan has, I mean, he's aging, right? Is Inter looking at a potential Mkhitaryan replacement, or they're gonna still persist with him? What's your opinion on this?
Ashwin, so इस पे I'll say कि Inzaghi is that kind of a manager who does not like to give youth a chance. मतलब बहुत ज़्यादा youth नहीं करता. He all just like Simeone, he trusts very much experienced players.
Right.
So I don't think so कि इनका रोल पूरी तरह से चेंज हो जाएगा. जैसे अगर let's say एक 38 गेम का सीजन है, so these guys are starting let's say 28 games. वो आपका चेंज होके 20 या 19 गेम्स तक का वो एवरेज आ जाएगा. So ऐसे Inter has this history of slowly reintegrating these players.
Right.
Now, talking about आपका in outgoing, so Joaquin Correa and Arnautovic will definitely leave. They have their academy Primavera का striker Pio Esposito, वो Spezia पे लोन पे है. That is a young kid and he has मतलब Serie B का I think one of the top scorers है. So he will definitely come back. So वहाँ पे उनको एक option मिल जाएगा and they are looking for another striker in the market. So एक वहाँ पे आपको लगेगा. Then बिसेक का अगर अच्छा ऑफर आया, देन यहाँ वो बिसेक आपका स्कोर होगा, बिकॉज बिसेक हैज दिस ओकेजनल एरर इशू उनके, मतलब ही इज अ वेरी गुड डिफेंडर बट अचानक से उसके एक बोझो मोमेंट उसका आ जाता है.
बट प्लेयर काफी स्ट्रांग है, राइट? एंड वेरी मतलब उसमें वो आई थिंक he embodies a lot of attributes from Dumfries, right? And we're going to talk about Dumfries, right? I think, do you think Dumfries will be in the transfer window, or do you think he's not going to leave at this point? Like, where do Inter stand with this?
I think Dumfries का ना जो start हुआ था ना सीजन का, that was very much wow, Sunderland
is promoted. That's massive news. Yeah.
So जो start हुआ था ना Dumfries का, that was very horrible. मतलब Inter fans were not happy. But 2025 में he is easily their best player. So he has certainly turned the tide around. Right, now, if a very good offer for Dumfries comes, then the Inter will be tempted to sell. But the problem is कि Inter are actually looking for his backup, and they have अभी currently तो उनका mood नहीं है sell करने का. They are linked with Marseille के Luis Enrique से, so they are basically looking to get his backup ताकि उसका game time, और injuries की काफी हो रही है अभी Dumfries.
Right.
तो उसका कम करेंगे. हाकान का उन्होंने एक बैकअप लिया है, पीटर सूचिच, some Croatian talent, काफी highly touted है. So we will see Inter doing a lot of these smart activities. जैसे DePaul के links आ रहे थे उनके, and
that
Rodrigo
would be a massive signing for Inter. Yeah.
For Mkhitaryan. So Inter have tried to sign Rodrigo DePaul कई बार, जब वो Udinese में भी थे, एटलेटिको ने वो last minute deal उनसे snatch कर ली थी. So he could come in as Mkhitaryan replacement. So we will see a very busy summer from Inter this time around.
Absolutely. And what's so if Conte links are absolutely true, right, with Juve, and he's gonna leave, do you think he's gonna pull in some players from Napoli into Juve, or Napoli is like, no, we have a Champions League around the corner, we might not be looking to sell at least our core? Or क्या हो सकता है at Juventus? Do you, if Conte goes right to Juventus, and this is the second question I have, will we see a massive overhaul in that squad, or he's going to work with the same set of players that we have, like the Western McKennies, of the world? What do you think about that?
एक प्लेयर जो मुझे लग रहा है जो आ सकता है डेफिनेटली ज़ाम्बो अंगुइसा, बिकॉज उसका कॉन्ट्रैक्ट खत्म हो रहा है नापोली में, and he has been brilliant for Napoli throughout the years, and this season especially has done brilliant job. So Zambo Anguissa is that one guy जो आ सकता है. And from a Juventus point of view, they need lot of improvements in their squad because ब्रेमर वापस आएंगे नेक्स्ट सीजन अपने एसीएल से. सो
Yes.
ब्रेमर है, आपके पास गाटी है, बट दे डोंट हैव अ गुड बॉल प्लेइंग प्लेयर बिकॉज बोथ ऑफ देम आर पुअर ऑन बॉल. सो
Uh,
दे नीड अ गुड बॉल प्लेइंग सेंटर बैक. तो लेट्स से अगर उनका रेनाटो वेगा का डील परमानेंट हो गया, सो
hmm.
उसके बाद कॉन्टे अपने सिस्टम में क्या लगेगा, मे बी स्कॉट मैकटोमिने का यूवेंटस में ट्रांसफर हो जाए. बट आई
Right.
थिंक अंगीसा इज वन प्लेयर, या लुकाकू के लिंक्स आ रहे हैं एंटोनियो कॉन्टे विंस, मतलब वो बंदा अपना पूरा सेवन सिस्टर्स का अपना वो
That,
कंप्लीट करने के लिए आ
and
गया.
that combo absolutely works. It has worked before Inter. It has worked before
Exactly.
Abhi Napoli, Chelsea,
Hmm.
right? Chelsea में भी था, right? During that period, like Lukaku was he? I think that was a Tuchel signing
Was
more
in
more
Chelsea.
than
हाँ, वो
Lukaku.
टूकल का था वो.
That was a Tuchel signing, right? And then this combination worked. And yesterday's goal, like Lukaku, I think he's gonna stay in Serie A. I think he's doing really well there. I think
Hmm.
और कोई क्लब में जाने की उसके नहीं है. But having said that,
क्योंकि
I think
व्लाहोविच,
I was
because
coming there.
व्लाहोविच will definitely, हाँ, वो लीव करेगा. Juventus fans are not happy. He has had a very poor season, and the big issue with Vlahovic is ना कि he is the highest paid player in Serie A. सबसे
Right,
ज्यादा उसके वेजेस हैं. तो
right,
अगर आप
right,
व्लाहोविच को अपने बुक से हटा लोगे ना, तो आपके पास वो फंड्स काफी ज्यादा फ्री हो जाएंगे.
right.
एंड आई लव व्लाहोविच, मतलब मेरे को तो वो बंदा इतना पसंद था कि मेरे पास उसकी फ्योरेंटीना की जर्सी मैंने खरीद ली थी.
Wow.
But that signing hasn't worked out for Juventus. So let's see. Maybe Lukaku comes to Juventus and does well.
Is Vlahovic a kind of player that would fit in the Premier League, or do you see that he needs at least one or more seasons in Serie A to absolutely prove his worth more, even more, considering the season he had? To me, he needs more time.
As
I think. Uh,
the as में जो उसकी फिजिकल प्रोफाइल है ना, दैट इज वेरी गुड. सो
uh,
प्रीमियर लीग में जो फिजिकलिटी का इशू है ना, वो तो व्लाहोविच को नहीं. He still has that very good long range shooting in him, but the problem is ना 1v1 misses उसके बहुत ज्यादा.
right,
1v1 misses उसके काफी ज्यादा होते हैं.
right,
सो कीपर के सामने आके कंपोजर उसका चला जाता है,
right,
which is
right, right,
something जो फ्योरेंटीना में नहीं थी. So he has lost his confidence completely in Juventus. Now अब उसको ऐसे क्लब में जाना चाहिए जहाँ पे उसका थोड़ा कॉन्फिडेंस वापस आ जाए. बायर्न कुछ टाइम पहले उससे लिंक थी.
right.
So he needs that kind of a setup. I don't think so Vlahovic जैसा signing, मतलब it will be a risk. It could work out, but it will be a risk factor काफी involved रहेगा Vlahovic में,
Right.
considering जो Juventus का उसका failed spell गया है.
Right, right. So can we say this, that Atlanta might also look to get more strikers at this point to support Retegui? I think Lukman and Retegui had decent seasons, but अभी links भी आ रहे हैं कि like obviously a lot of clubs are going to go for either of them, but also there are links heavy links with Man United that they will go for Ederson. Who's the potential Ederson replacement at Atalanta at this point, considering they play that
That's
system,
a
this
good one.
modern system? Yeah. So what's that? Where does it go? Does Weston McKennie fit in Atlanta, or where do you see this happening?
I think Ederson is a good choice. I can't really think of good central defensive midfielders. Tonali, if he comes back to Serie A, because there have been some kind of links.
Right.
So Tonali can do not exactly that Ederson role, but he can fit in that midfield very perfectly.
Right.
And Ederson and Juventus, Atalanta have this good scouting team जो potential scouts करके लाते हैं, जो players को लाते हैं अच्छे से.
Right.
Lower table का जैसे Morten Friendrup kind of a player who has done very well at Genoa. He is linked with more with AC Milan, but Morten Friendrup could do very well in Atalanta. So these are the kind of players जो replace कर सकते हैं. Definitely striker तो उनको चाहिए होगा, because Gasperini is also leaving and he is being linked to Roma's job. So who will be their next manager? So we might see complete refresh in Atalanta as well, क्योंकि Lukman is definitely going, जो उसका हुआ आपका Gasperini के साथ. So Retegui को support, they were linked with Enciso. So Atlanta were the first to जिन्होंने Enciso को discover किया था. उनके scouts ने winter market में भी उनको Enciso चाहिए था.
Right.
But Brighton ने permanent deal के लिए मना कर दिया. So we might see Enciso going to Atalanta.
That's interesting. I think Atlanta is a project that excites people a lot. I think initially they had a fantastic start to the season. No one expected Napoli to absolutely kill it when it absolutely mattered right in the middle of the season. बहुत ही बेहतरीन form था. Atlanta dropped off.
Yeah.
Do you think Atlanta really play a really more aggressive football than they're supposed to, and that's why they dropped off? Or this is the way the football is going forward, and Serie A is the starting point of this modern football at this point, because I think the whole of Europe has been impressed by what Inter and Atlanta have played with this formation. What do you think on that?
Yeah, so Gasparini's Atalanta's project is like 7-8 साल पुराना हो गया, and this is one particular model which many clubs are looking to follow. कि आपने Gasparini को keys दे दिए and now he has led Atalanta to one certain level and वहां तक उसने यूरोपा लीग वगैरह जिता दिया. Very
Right.
exciting brand of football. I think Flick से compare कर सकते हैं. That same intensity, same pressure. The only difference comes कि Atlanta man to man बहुत heavy press करती है. Like
Right.
अगर आपके पास बॉल आएगी तो आपके पास बंदे बहुत जल्दी आएंगे प्रेस करने
ओवरलोड
के
पे
लिए.
खेलते हैं उन लोग,
फ्लिक
राइट?
हाँ, फ्लिक इज मोर वर्टिकल कि आप जाओ गोल्स को अटैक करो. एटलांटा इज लाइक कि विल प्रेस यू, विल मेक यू फोर्स कमिट दोस मिस्टेक्स एंड देन वी विल गो बैक टू द गोल. सो ये
राइट.
दो सिमिलर जो स्टाइलिस्टिक डिफरेंसेस हैं फ्लिक और गैस्परिनी में. एंड इसलिए आप देखते हो कि टुवर्ड्स द एंड ऑफ द सीजन गैस्परिनी की जो टीम्स है ना वो काफी ज्यादा जल्दी वेयर आउट हो जाते हैं, वॉर्न आउट हो जाते हैं.
राइट. राइट.
Regarding exciting football, they over the years Atalanta had some brilliant players. आपका Ilicic, Papu Gomez, Duan Zapata, Luis Muriel, Sanabria, तो काफी अच्छी काफी exciting team रही Atlanta की सीजन. आपके Retegui, Lookman, so you will get that exciting football. अगर आपको attacking football देखने, so वो आपको definitely आपको Atalanta से मिलेगी. And one player which I like to mention, जो I think would be a very good option for multiple Premier League clubs is Raul Bellanova, जो right wing back है Atalanta के. He has had a very good season. Crossing उनकी काफी अच्छी है, थोड़ा सा defensively susceptible है, but from attacking point of view, you can expect some very good returns from Raul Bellanova. So he is one particular guy to look after अगर आपको Atalanta की games देखने, their right wing back.
Fair, absolutely. And I think a lot of clubs are going to look for Atlanta. Atlanta has been one of the selling clubs. In my opinion, I think what's going to happen is Højlund might go to a loan deal at Atalanta. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. Yeah, back to Atlanta for a loan deal. Rumors bhi aa rahe. I think obviously United is looking to offload Højlund at this point. At least sell to nahi ho paega, but क्या बोल रहे हैं यहाँ पे, एक तो वीडियो कॉल थोड़ी no I wanted to have a close up setup for this one just to have a more intimate discussion with everyone at this point. अगर ये नहीं चाहिए तो मैं ये कर दूंगा. चलो मैं सबको ऐसे बुला लूंगा. चलो अब अगर ठीक लग रहा है तो बोलिए. by the way I wanted to again appreciate, like, we are just 15 subscribers away from reaching 100. I'm so grateful that जिसने भी subscribe किया है recently. It's been just 1 week. And if you haven't checked out the video that I made on Ruben Amorim, my rant, my passionate assessment of what happened in the final and what we exactly lost. By the way, some news for everyone. Ryan Gravenberch has won the Premier League Young Player of the Season. I think it's time that he should be appreciated. I think his ball close control, the way he used to control the tempo of the midfield at Liverpool, absolutely banger of a season. Definitely deserved it. I mean, people say he's 23, but I think that's the criteria maybe Premier League has it in terms of the young profile players. But he's won the Young Player of the Season. But the next segment I'm going to come in and Shivam, if you have time, you want to stay, or if you're staying, let me know.
I have 5 to 10 more minutes.
Okay. So if you have 5 minutes, then I'm gonna just stretch this Serie A discussion again, and then obviously I'm gonna jump into the United topic around Bruno and Garnacho leaving. But before you leave, Shivam, and thanks so much for joining and giving so much great insights about Serie A. I think we'll do a lot more sessions on Serie A as well. I'm gonna make a personal effort to watch a lot of Serie A games this season, just to find the right profile of players. I think what the next question I would have for you in terms of Napoli, right? Do you see, and we have this, and this is new news, right? Ornstein has dropped a bomb that Amorim has said that Garnacho will be leaving. I think he's already told Garnacho that he should leave. Does Garnacho fit in at Napoli? What would you say? To me, he does, but I would like to hear from you.
Actually, the thing with this particular deal is now, I think the most important factor in this deal was Antonio Conte, because winter mein the reports were that Antonio Conte wanted, the news was, and Italian media said Conte wanted Garnacho.
Right.
because we always associate Conte as his 3-5-2 system, but इस season उसने flexibility दिखाया है, या switch to back four या switch to back five, and उसने wingers वगैरह भी खिलाए हैं.
Right.
So they definitely need a Kvaratskhelia replacement. The twist here comes कि now Conte is most likely his destination is Juventus. So
Hmm.
if he is going to Juventus, will he want someone like a Garnacho at Juve? Now,
Right.
if Garnacho goes to Juve, then what will happen with Chico Conceição? Kenan Yildiz is more of a central player, like someone like Nico Gonzalez. In सब players के साथ क्या होगा? So his situation is very crucial because Napoli are linked with Max Allegri, and
Hmm.
Allegri का football everyone knows it's very eye bleeding football, but it gives you results. Who knows? Allegri ने भी ऐसे adapt कर लिया हो जैसे Conte ने adapt किया था. We are all judging Allegri by his second stint. And if
Yeah.
Allegri plays his same old 3-5-2 kind of a style,
Right.
then to get ready to see Antonio Conte as left wing back, right wing back. So that will be a very interesting situation. So it's
Right.
a deal to keep an eye upon.
Yeah. Okay. I'll take some comments. Rex बोल रहे हैं कि that if they sell Yildiz, Ghana to Juve will be a banger. Do you think what would be your statement? I think Ghana to Juve might also work out if Juve still plays that, but under Conte. If Conte goes to Juve, I think Conte might want Ghana because he wanted Garnacho really really bad as a
Yeah.
Kvaratskhelia replacement. Do you think this deal might
Yeah.
happen?
हाँ, बिकॉज क्या है ना कि अगर यूवे वेनेजिया को हरा देती है, सो दे विल बी प्लेइंग इन चैंपियंस लीग, तो कॉन्टे को खेलना ही पड़ेगा. सो
Right.
यू हैव ओनली चिको कॉन्सेसाओ एंड निको गोंजालेस एज योर विंग, जो आपके विंग्स पे ऑप्शन है. केनान
Right.
यिल्डिज इज मोर ऑफ अ सेंट्रल प्लेयर, वो विंग्स पे बेस्ड है बंदा. सो
Yeah.
आपको थोड़ा तो एक रिप्लेसमेंट चाहिए जिनके बीच में आप कंपटीशन कर सको, बैकअप कर सको. सो गर्नाचो वुड डू वेरी वेल अंडर कॉन्टे, एंड अगर आप उसको विंग्स पे अगर आप डाल दोगे 4-3-3 के सिस्टम में विद
Right.
चिको विद निको, काफी अच्छा परफॉर्मेंस उसका निकल के आ सकता है.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So thanks Shivam for joining for the first half of the stream. I think I really, really appreciate that you made time and I wanted to talk about Syria, and I think we wanted to get more inputs on Syria. I think the one point I really would like to mention is three players that have been absolutely fantastic. Apart from McTominay, is like Zambo Anguissa. Anguissa has scored like 6 goals and 5 assists as well, considering the role he plays. And also Billy Gilmour.
Yeah,
When I saw him play yesterday, the way he was controlling the tempo, absolutely like the off the ball movement. Also, he's not static, so that helps a lot. And also, I think Olivera had a great season as well on the left back. I think you had mentioned as we were talking about
yeah,
in
very
recent
consistent.
Discord server. Right. So I think fairly a fantastic season. I think Scott McTominay right now is absolutely in the folklore. But दिल में बस चुका होगा at this point in the Napoli fans. I think
Yeah,
Syria recently made a nice documentary on McTominay. If chat you haven't seen that documentary, go and see that. It's very very nice. I saw that recently. I think it talks about how the fans love McTominay a lot. So yeah,
yeah.
I mean, yeah,
Lastly,
बोले.
ओलिवेरा पे आई मेंशन कि ही विल गो डाउन एज वन ऑफ दोस प्लेयर जो दोनों स्कुडेटो कैंपेन्स में बहुत अंडररेटेड, बहुत अनसंग रह गया, बिकॉज डिफेंसिवली वी ऑल न्यू कि ओलिवेरा वाज गुड. जब भी वो गेटाफे में भी खेलते थे, कुकुरेला एंड ओलिवेरा दोनों खेलते थे,
Yes,
ही हैज बीन वेरी गुड अटैकिंग वाइज भी, ही इज ब्रिलियंट. एंड इस सीजन हमने देखा कि बिकॉज बॉन्जियोर्नो उन्होंने साइन किया था, बट ही हैज स्ट्रगल्ड अ लॉट विद इंजरीज.
right,
सो कॉन्टे ने ओलिवेरा को लेफ्ट सेंटर बैक खिलाया. लेफ्ट सेंटर बैक में उसकी बॉल प्लेइंग हैज बीन ब्रिलियंट. तो
right.
कॉन्ट्रैक्ट रिन्यू करा लिया, 40 मिलियन का रिलीज क्लॉज दिलवा दिया. लेफ्ट सेंटर बैक एंड लेफ्ट बैक भी खेला. वेरी अंडररेटेड प्लेयर इन दिस एंटायर कैंपेन. सो या मैन,
Absolutely.
ओलिवेरा का ब्रिलियंट सीजन.
Awesome. Well, thanks Shivam for joining the stream. I really appreciate you taking your time and giving us some insights on Serie A. I think I'm gonna talk to a lot other folks and experts of other leagues as well, and making a personal effort to know all leagues as well. I think me personally, after the season Man United have had, मेरी तो आंखें खुल गई हैं, right? In terms of the football I want to watch, in terms of the football I want to expect from Man United, and I think it's good that you gave some great insights on Syria.
And
Thanks, Shivam,
anytime.
so much for having your time. And agar time hai, do join in the chat. I'll definitely do another stream. I'll call you on when we start.
Sure.
We'll do a Syria preview as well. And thanks for joining, man. It's been a fantastic session with you. But Baki, we are
Sure, sure.
staying.
Anytime.
बाकी सब हम लोग stay कर रहे हैं. So we'll talk about some transfer news. So thanks, Shivam. That was a fantastic session with Shivam. And who has not checked him out as well, check his Twitter as well. Fantastic guy, has a lot of knowledge on Syria. Right. So I'm gonna take some comments. And I'm gonna give some insights on what is exactly going to happen at this point. And I'm gonna talk about this on an agenda. Right. This is one of the topics I want to discuss. Scott McTominay has won the MVP award in Syria. 90th percentile in take-ons, 94th percentile in attacking position. Absolutely says a lot. Says a lot about how he was misprofiled at Man United and how Antonio Conte has absolutely taken it a notch in identifying those right players and taking the best out of them. I think Victor Moses in Chelsea was one of the biggest examples. So I think fair enough, man. Fantastic news for Man United fans and lovers who absolutely love McTominay. But this is a news that has absolutely shaken the transfer market. Is Al Hilal is going to bid 100 million euros transfer fee. To me, it is still less considering Saudi Pro League, but they're gonna break the bank in terms of the salary. 700,000 euros a week. Sink it in. 700,000 euros a week, 65 million yearly signing on fee and bonuses. This is going to be generational wealth for Bruno Fernandes if he goes for it. But in my opinion, what's gonna I think from what I know, Bruno, I don't think so. He's going to go for a Al Hilal deal. To me, right now, the situation with Bayern Munich, when Bayern Munich could not complete or could not sign Florian Wirtz, I think right now the best opportunity for Bruno is to go to Bayern Munich. I think Bayern Munich, he absolutely fits that system because Bayern Munich need a 10, right? With Musiala on the left, we have imagine the midfield, right? Musiala, we have Bruno in the central midfield, attacking midfield, and Olise on the right. That will be an absolutely insane midfield that will just serve Harry Kane assists and goals on the platter. That's going to be a fantastic uh, uh, signing, I would say. I think Bruno to Bayern Munich makes more sense. But if Al Hilal is going with this money, and they have given an ultimatum to Bruno, right? They have given an ultimatum to Bruno that you need to decide before the 31st of May. If he does not decide, then this deal is off. I think we'll keep a watch out. It's a very, very crucial. And I won't blame Bruno. And I will not blame Bruno, honestly, uh, if he decides to leave Man United, because this is a state of rottenness that exists at Manchester United, and no player can perform or improve. Like Garnacho is going to leave, Bruno is going to leave. So the complete reset might just happen if Bruno leaves. Not going to hate him, not going to blame him. We failed you, Bruno Fernandes. I think this is what all the fans need to understand as well. I have made my peace with it. We need to rebuild. We need. Absolutely. I have also made peace with it. I don't want Bruno to go. Considering, and I'll give you a reason, right? And I'll give you a reason for why I don't want Bruno to go at this point, right? Because this is something that we need to all realize that the squad right now is not mentally or even from a even tactically ready to have that transition without Bruno. I think Bruno, if we want to phase out Bruno and sell Bruno, it should be the next year, right? Right now, there's no way that we just snap out Bruno from the squad and expect that we'll come back good this season. It's not going to work out at this point. I'm going to take some comment. I'm going to take some lot of comments I've left behind. I'm going to go to Pratik. Pratik is saying Lobotka kaise khela? Lobotka yesterday did not play at all. Billy Gilmour, he was injured, so he did not play. But overall, this season, Lobotka was fantastic. Lil Sol, thank you so much. Yo, thanks for joining. Rex Bowler ETH has said yes to Leverkusen. Guys, Eric Ten Hag is an elite manager. He's a good manager. Okay, do not judge him for what he did at Man United. Yes, he did some misprofiling. Let's say people would think that he did not do that well at United. I think the second season at United was very, very bad. But he's a good manager. And if Leverkusen has identified Eric Ten Hag as their manager, replacing Alonso, like being Alonso's successor is massive pressure for Leverkusen. I think he's going to do really, really well. They have the players that will fit Eric Ten Hag's style of football, transition, like fast football, massive transition. So I think that's going to work out. Chelsea winning the conference and possibly UCL in 26. Yes. So a lot of things can happen yesterday, right? If Chelsea wins tomorrow, right? If Chelsea wins tomorrow, Brighton and Brentford do not have any chance to go for the Conference League because Crystal Palace has won. I think Newcastle has won the um, uh, the Carabao Cup. Hence, they get an automatic qualification for Conference League. But if Newcastle misses out yesterday, misses out tomorrow, then I think they Newcastle will go to the Conference League, and Brighton and Brentford will drop out. So interesting day tomorrow. I think I'm gonna do a live watch along tomorrow. We'll watch the Man United versus Aston Villa game and also the Chelsea versus Nottingham game. So quality qualify first. Exactly. Yes, they need to qualify. कहाँ से start करे? Okay. Rex, don't worry, man. We got the quality except our shit goalkeeper. Are you a United fan at this point? This is Chelsea we're talking about, right? So if Chelsea, then yes, Sanchez needs to be sold. I think United and Chelsea both might go for Emi Martinez at this point. ETH ने बोला था बिकॉज ऑफ PSR इश्यूज है हम उसको जाने देंगे स्कॉटी को इट्स नॉट अबाउट ऑल्सो द PSR issues. I think Scott McTominay's transfer was done to finance the Ugarte deal. I think that was vital. Obviously, with PSR rules, the budget was really, really tight, and we needed someone, a ball winner. And that's why McTominay's deal was very, very important there. Swam in the chat. Hi, Swam. Thanks for joining. Hi, Keshav. Thanks for joining. Came back after dinner. Thank you so much. I made my peace with United. I think, yes, exactly. Best player ko hi nikal doge. Don't sell Bruno to Saudi. See, it's not up to us, man. It's not up to us. If Bruno has two choices right now, either he plays football at the top level, at the European level, which he should play, and that place is not Man United currently. So I won't blame if he leaves. To me, I have said this again. I'm going to mention this again in the chat that his perfect club right now to play Champions League and to absolutely win a league trophy is Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich needs a number 10. They went for Florian Wirtz. It didn't work out. It's tailor-made for Bruno. Absolutely. But will Bayern slash out so much money for Bruno? That's the real question. But if he goes there, that midfield will be absolutely fantastic. Board will maximize profits if Bruno says fine for Saudi. Keshav, let's remove the current transfer market, like the complete Saudi Pro League. Al Hilal right now is trying to put in more money to Bruno for the wages, but 100 million transfer fee for Bruno, I would not pay. Just sell Bruno for 100 million. Bruno sell, if someone is coming for Bruno at his prime at this point, it should be at least 120, 130 million. That's my opinion. Because if we sell Bruno for just 100 million, which world class player right now do you think that would match Bruno's profile would come in just 100 million? I mean, look at Florian Wirtz. Florian Wirtz is going to get sold for 150 million to Liverpool. And Liverpool are absolutely going for it because that's the price you play for that player profile. 100 million is too less, in my opinion. And that's what I would like to say. Bruno at AC Milan. No, he's not going to go to AC Milan. I don't think so. AC Milan cannot afford Bruno. Exactly. As they're selling players. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to take some more comments. What can Bruno do to clean it? There's nothing correct going right now in the club. Yeah, that's true. Rebuild. Yeah, I mean, see, that's what I'm saying. Right now, Man United are absolutely rock bottom. And in this rock bottom situation, this is the only way you can absolutely do a rebuild. But is United as a squad ready to do the rebuild without Bruno? I don't think so. Bruno needs at least one more season. If he still sees the same condition that we aren't improving at all, absolutely he should leave. In my opinion, if he leaves today, I can understand. Absolutely understand why that's happening. Fair point. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So this is the real now the next real uh, development that has happened in the transfer market regarding Man United news is Garnacho, right? And Ornstein has we have all seen the tweet from Ornstein right now. Ornstein has said that obviously Amorim is looking to stay at United. He's not resigning. Neither Ineos is looking to sack him, but Garnacho, right? I think recently he spoke in the media about how he just played 20 minutes and his brother showing up on Instagram. And this is happening a lot at this point, and it's important to understand that how much important it is to maintain a good culture at the club. There have been news lineup leaks. There have been leaks of uh, like tactics uh, from Garnacho's brother. I think United and Amorim needs to make a statement at this point that if Garnacho is making these tantrums and not trying to improve how he has been, I mean, I cannot defend any player at this point at Manchester United. If a team is placed 17th in the league, there's no hiding. There's no ifs and buts. There's absolutely nothing. So I cannot defend any player at this point. Not even Bruno, considering the season he's carrying the mediocre team on his shoulders. But I cannot. I just cannot defend any player at this point. Not even Euro, not even Maguire, not even your Ugartes, not even the Casemiros. No one. I cannot defend anyone, and I think it's important to understand that we need to look at other leagues to understand the standards that we have accepted, and we need to move on. And if Bruno is looking to leave and Ganacho is looking to leave, fair enough. You guys finish 17th, and any club would like to sell these players. I'll take some more comments. We can use that 100 as a 200 to 250 million in PSR as pure profit. Yes, we can, but is it is it gonna absolutely add to a budget? Let's say I want to buy a Cole Palmer, let's say at 150 160 million. Will this suffice? No. I think I think we have the budget for 2 3 players, but it's going to be very very difficult for us to use that money by Bruno unless we absolutely go for underrated talents and get like 2 players for a 30 million valuation. That's where it might work. But to replace Bruno and to replace the quality of Bruno is going to be really difficult. Can't wait to see. Here we go for Florian Wirtz. I think it's going to come, man. It's absolutely. And Liverpool absolutely deserve this. FSG absolutely deserve this. They have been. That's called proactiveness and ambition. This is what I'm talking about. Liverpool absolutely knows that City is going to go all out in the market. City were in talks with Florian Wirtz. And Liverpool knows that if we do not act in the market, City is going to absolutely take over the transfer market and maybe potentially win the league next year. So they are proactive. They are knowing what they want to do. They have signed Frimpong. They've signed Kirkes. They will sign Kirkes, right? And now they're gonna sign Words. 3 players with brilliant IQ and aggressive players, right? And this is what Liverpool, I think, stand for. This is an absolutely fantastic signing for Liverpool, in my opinion. People would say, oh, they're paying so much for Florian Wirtz. But Florian Wirtz is a player at age 21 with that IQ, with that ceiling, with that ability, proven ability at Bayer Leverkusen that everyone is seeing, even for the national squad. I think it's difficult to find these profile players and these high IQ players, and absolutely go for the money. Because if Arsenal can spend 100 million for Declan Rice, Liverpool can definitely go for 150 for Florian Wirtz, because Florian Wirtz will be the future for them, and he absolutely fits right there in the central attacking midfield position and can absolutely be releasing the likes of Gakpo and Salah week in week out. Fantastic signing, and this is what ambition is. Ambition is, and I'm so happy for Liverpool fans at this point that they are so much high after winning the Premier League. These news absolutely stamps the authority that they are going to take the next season seriously, and Slot is taking this very, very seriously. I'm going to take some more comments. I don't think so. Bruno works at Bayern Munich as he thrives in chaos, but likes to keep the ball. Hey, you know what? Bruno absolutely fits Bayern Munich because he'll play in that cam role. In the more high IQ players Bruno has around him, it's going to absolutely help him. Like imagine Olise and Bruno linking up together. Imagine Bruno and Musiala linking up together. Imagine Bruno just putting in balls for Harry Kane to just dump into the box. So like it's going to work. Absolutely, it's going to work. Thanks for having me on the stream. Enjoyed interact. Thanks, Shivam. Thank you so much for being on the stream. I think Shivam joined me. If you're joining right now, Shivam joined me for the first half, the first hour in the stream. We talked about Syria. We talked about Napoli, Atlanta, a lot of the signings, Antonio Conte. If you haven't checked out after the live stream is ended, you can absolutely go and check out. It was fantastic interacting you. I mean, a lot of fantastic knowledge on Syria. I think I'm gonna do more sessions with him as well going forward. Rex Bolden, I can defend Bruno and Maguire any day, any player. See, Rex, bro, it's not about trying. It's about see that there's one thing that you try, but there's one thing that where are the results like of trying them? Like आप ट्राई करते हो बट अगर वो रिजल्ट्स नहीं देगा राइट देयर इज नो पॉइंट it just does not matter. And football is, I have mentioned this in my video, football is all about accountability. I think everyone gets the smoke. Even if Bruno is playing well, he gets the smoke because you just cannot justify yourself as a player that you have finished like 17th in the league. That's just unacceptable in my opinion. Thoughts on Ansu Fati to Monaco, considering Ligue 1 is physical league and Monaco has shitty medical team. Oh my god. So Average Foodie, thanks for joining the stream. Thank you so much. If you, I hope you subscribe to the channel. My thoughts on Ansu Fati is, I think the player had fantastic ability, man. The player had fantastic ability. Liga is a good, is a physical league, but also recently have been really, really thriving on technicalities as well. I think Ansu Fati can provide that extra burst of pace and extra zing that you need. But can Ansu Fati remain fit? That's the question. That's the question I have. Shivam, okay. Coop minus to United would be a great transfer. No man. I think if United have to really, really start the rebuild, I think we need to start looking at players like Wharton. Edison is a decent one. I think I would love to have Angelo Stiller. If that guy goes to Real Madrid, right, and we are hearing some links, right, these are the players that can absolutely control the tempo of the game. Um, I think it's absolutely necessary in our pivot that someone can run the midfield and not. I mean, we have seen in the final, right, that Bruno was taking a lot of risky passes and it led to the goal, right? Bruno is not perfect for that profile. We need the right profile players, and if you want to absolutely work a system like the Cunha deal we are making right now, he's absolutely perfect, tailor made for this formation at L10. So I think Kupiners might not make sense, man. Absolutely no. FSG proactiveness, dream for a club in North London. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like Arsenal, Zubimendi, they've signed Zubimendi, but you're not making any moves for a striker. And I'm very surprised. Like maybe a news comes up that hey, you guys just signed Gyökeres or anyone, but they're not making any moves, and it's not gonna help you guys. Not gonna help you guys. Liability goalkeeper है यार, कैसा result लोगे? Are you talking about Onana? I think Onana is gonna be sold, um, or loaned out, or we definitely are going for a new goalkeeper. We, I think, will be going for Emi Martinez. I'm pretty sure. Next season फिर से academy products को promote करने वाले हैं. I don't think so because Sekou Kone, I'll give you some updates, right? Sekou Kone, obviously he's back fit from his injury, rehabilitated. I think playing in the under 21s, but he will be loaned out. I think the news that he might be loaned out to Belgian league. So I think I can't remember the club, but he's going to be loaned out to a Belgian league. That's where he will gain massive experience. I think that's the route that they should be going for, not directly integrating them to the team. Let them play some games in some other leagues, have some consistency, and then get integrated in the squad. I think that's what we did with Ahmad, but it was too late. I really can't watch any more interviews of the manager, swear to God. I've said this before, Abhijit. He's going to break the Guinness World Records for most interviews done by a manager. Average Foodie is saying, I think United should forget history and they should forget start term goals. Just like old Arsenal and Liverpool, they should make long term with zero overpriced frauds. United, that should be the project. Absolutely bang on, man. See, this is the thing. I'm talking about all United fans, all Twitter tacticos, all creators on YouTube that are only staying in the bubble of United and saying Euro isse zyada acha hai. Or Bruno is playing this much better than most other players. Garnacho is this. Hoyland ka potential ye hai. It's the problem, man. No, Casemiro has won 5 Champions League, so much experience. No, none of these players have been absolutely good enough. There are absolutely no justification that these players are good enough if your team is finishing in the 17th spot and also absolutely underperforming in the final. So there's no questions about it. Absolutely, we need this reset. Like if we are selling Bruno going forward, then the next reset should be, this is where the real rock bottom will start. I think Bruno leaving United would be massive. I don't agree that it's a right time, but hey, if this happens, it's very, very crucial we use this amount to get the right players, at least for the system, that uh, Amorim can look forward to, have a full preseason, just play once every week, and just have a system that works for us and not playing a basketball game every week and just struggling and accepting mediocrity week in, week out. So, yeah, get a better striker, sell Hoyland. See, I'm going to repeat this again. Selling players at United is not as simple as people think. First of all, who's going to come for a Hoyland to potentially buy him, considering the season he had? No. The next opportunity we have is selling him, not selling him, but sending him on loan. And for me, Hoyland's loan move to a Serie A club like Juventus or even Atlanta will absolutely make sense. That's where he needs some experience. We need to then raise the stocks of the player high, and then look to sell him. Considering the season he had, any club, any club in the Premier League will not go for Rasmus Højlund, and that's exactly the problem we have with Luke Shaw as well. No one is going to go for them. I want Ugarte, Zubi type player, and Bruno up front. When you say Zubi type player, see, we need like warriors on the pitch, man. We no disrespect to Zubi Mendy, but Zubi Mendy would not have worked under Amarim. We need to understand that we need warriors on the pitch that can handle the pressure, the pressure overload of the midfielders of the opposition that are gonna put on our pivot. And for our pivot, even Casemiro is not fit. Casemiro has to be sold as well. Absolutely, we need an absolutely refreshed midfield there. Ugarte and another player like Wharton, Ederson, potentially a Reinders, and another central defensive midfielder, man. I don't think so. Kobe Mainu is also fit for that role. Arsenal is targeting both Gyökeres and Sesko, so it'll take time. Definitely, I think both these strikers are waiting for the end of the season, where other clubs are as well. I think they will hear a lot of offers from a lot of the clubs. Uh, to me, for Arsenal, uh, Gyökeres would deliver you at least 15 plus goals or 18 goals, and that's going to be the difference for you, um, whether you're winning the league or not. But yeah, this transfer saga is going to be very, very interesting. Absolutely. Path, thanks for joining. Thanks for joining, Path. I really appreciate you joining this. United issue, they overplay players to below average players. They need proper structure. They should get sporting director just like. And this is where when they sacked Dan Ashworth, right? So imagine you wait for Dan Ashworth, right? You wait for them. Look at the mess. Look at the mess. You sign him for 6 million, right? Then you sack him within few months and then have to give a compensation of 3 million euros. So you technically spend like 9 to 10 million euros to sack a sporting director. That's few months of wages. That's the exact money they could have used to retain the staff. But no, Dan Ashworth has a proven record of rebuilding squads. And even if had that they had the, and I think Ratcliffe had mentioned this in the interview, right? Against in BBC, that they had some disagreements and it was best that both parties leave. This is where the delusion train happens, right? When you can't question decisions that have been taken. Like Dan Ashworth was worried that the timing of sacking ETH was wrong. If you have given a contract to a manager, persist him with the end of the season and then see if it's absolutely getting worse. Yes, for sure. Had Amarim got a completely fresh new season, I don't think so this would have happened. I'm 100% sure. This is the timing of Amarim appointment has absolutely ruined our season. He's not been given enough preseason to work with. So that's what has happened, man. Absolutely. Ahmad should regain his form in preseason. Ahmad has been rushed into playing a lot of games. He was not fit. We can absolutely see him when he was playing for the past few games that he is not fit. He's he's doing way more than he's supposed to, but he had a very disappointing final. I was very annoyed with how Ahmad played. Yeah, not kicking Burger King out of the club till this shows the ambition. Yeah, absolutely. Path bol rahe hain. To be a pivot player, you have to be press resistant. This is why Liverpool's dream target is midfield was Zubimendi. Great point. I agree. Which other profiles do you think, apart from Zubimendi, are press resistant? Do you think an Adam Wharton is a press resistant player? Do you think an Ederson is a press resistant player, considering they have played in that pivot? I don't think so. Casemiro is now that fit enough to even be press resistant. Is Ugarte? Ugarte is press resistant. I agree. Zubimendi is a great signing, I would say. I think it'll lift off a lot of the burden from Declan Rice to control the tempo. Um, but I think you still need more warriors on the pitch, man. We maybe need more reinforcement to at least replace Jorginho, at least a young player, like a Baliba. A Baliba will be fantastic for Arsenal, and I think you will agree with this. If Liverpool fan asks for Zubimendi, there's no reason why he won't work at a team like United. Warriors' passion, aggressiveness is massively overrated, in my opinion. Fair point. I get your point, Path here. I think what you're trying to say here is, I think a lot of teams are underappreciating, and I agree. You might disagree with the statement I had made before, and absolutely fair, because to a certain extent I agree that sometimes we forget that we need to do the basics right, as well. Sometimes you need players who can calm things down, keep the ball, not have a situation where you're losing the ball in in the middle half of the pitch, where an where a counter attack is absolutely triggered and you're done. Your whole structure is trying to just defend the whole counter attack, right? And I absolutely agree with the statement, Path. Sometimes calmness is underrated in a football pitch. He's got 40 odd games with free reign to do anything. I don't understand this preseason point. I agree, and I've been critical of this that as well. But also we need to be devil's advocate here, Abhijit. That on one point, that's what I'm saying. I believe in that manager's conviction that he can turn this around, but I'll also criticize him when he's absolutely not doing well. Um, Considering so many other managers that have joined um, this season, I think like Moyes has done well, Vito Pereira has done well. So I think that's where he lacked. I think his arrogance was a problem. He did not adapt. And I've been saying this statement in the Premier League: if you have to thrive, you have to adapt. You have to adapt. Your thoughts on Liga fan like me watching Liga on piracy because GXR has stopped broadcasting the season? I think Serie A is right now getting more popular. I think they are getting onto GXR. I think I do not follow the broadcasters of Indian football because I'm from Canada. I watch from a different streaming perspective. But you can ask the chat if. But fan code should get a Liga deal because right now Liga has PSG, and looking at the football PSG has played this season, right? Fantastic fluid football, modern football that Enrique is playing. There'll be fans of PSG who would be wanting to watch this live. I think it's gonna happen. I'm pretty sure. Thanks, Liga fan. I really appreciate Liga, right? Average footy, like I'm appreciating other leagues, watching absolutely mediocre football in the Premier League this season. Not talking about the competitiveness, but I've been saying this. We need to watch other leagues. There are fantastic players, fantastic scouting being done on other leagues, and Liga is one of them. Absolutely. There's a lot of comments. I'm going to take the comments right now. Ahmad Diallo's wing back will be very good. Path, he will work as a wing back if he has the right support system around him. Right. Let's say someone with that is really really um, uh, press resistant, that he can at least release those balls to Ahmad in those tight spaces. That's where Ahmad can carry the ball, because Ahmad as a ball carrier is absolutely fantastic. This might work, but he needs a support staff, not a Bruno playing in the pivot to release him. I'm so sorry about that. Do whatever you want to do if they're not broadcasting the league here. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You have to. Very good point. Calmness is underrated on the football pitch. Absolutely. I mean, I'll just give examples of how Tony Cruz's retirement has absolutely affected how Carlo plays at Real Madrid. Post Cruz leaving, and no disrespect to Real Madrid, okay, and fans and all. Post Tony Cruz retirement, can you absolutely say that Real Madrid plays with absolute control? No. This is where I think Arsenal have made this signing because Arteta thrives on control, and that's a perfect signing in my opinion. I said this before as well. To implement a philosophy, you need to secure the present first, not to compare. But Arteta adapted before implementing his ideas. Amorim should have done the same. Absolutely. I mean, I wholeheartedly agree with the statement because it's important to acknowledge that yes, he could not cross the line on 2 occasions, on the third occasion as well, to win the league. But coming second is also not a bad thing in the Premier League. And this is to call out all the trollers and all the creators like try to troll Arsenal and Arteta. I would swap Man United season with Arsenal any day. I mean, if this season United would have beaten Real Madrid on both the legs, oh yes, absolutely yes. Which means there is room that next season something might happen. There needs to be some kind of acknowledgement by all United fans. I think it's a tight slap has been given to everyone. A good reality check that finishing in top 4 is very, very important to fund a project. Your project needs funding over the years, needs belief in those players. And let's say Arsenal's performance against Real Madrid, right? It gave belief to the players. They absolutely came out of their imposter syndrome. Absolutely necessary. And to me, as a United fan, my eyes have opened this season. I've become more humble as a fan and will try to study and understand football as it is. And I'm going to question everything that's going to happen at United. No, I'm not going to be that blind fan that's going to just focus on trolling others rather than looking at ourselves at this point. Exactly. Instead of doing Farmers League thing, me as a Liga fan watch all leagues, and people shouldn't be exactly. Look at some of the football that De Zerbi is playing at Marseille, right? Like obviously Mason Greenwood is performing really well. I mean, whatever happened with his history, right? Still a fantastic footballer. We're paying some great talents there. See, one thing people need to understand that majority of the big leagues actually look up to Liga for scouting. So which means which league is producing the great talents at this point? Liga. I'm going to take some more comments. Oh yes, Tony Cruz, the midfielder at Dream at Cruz was the reason for Real Madrid's dominance more than Modric's. Absolutely, bang on. The vision that Tony Cruz had, the stability that Tony Cruz delivered at Real Madrid is unmatched. Absolutely unmatched. Abhijit is saying the final showed me this manager cares about system more than trophies. That's the reason I'm almost done with him. Tactical rigidity being appreciated by the fan base is painful. I know you have your reservations against Amorim, but trust me, I think what he has done at Sporting is playing in auto mode right now. You need to realize that he needs a full preseason. If next season by end of the 6 months the squad is still not performing after getting the backing by Ineos, I think the conversation needs to happen. What team do you support in McDonald's Liga? I don't support any team there. I would want any team other than PSG to win the Liga because PSG has top quality, right? And I am always up for underdogs. I'm gonna take some more comments I missed before. Yes, I've taken this one. Amad Diallo, wing back. Ederson should have been our first over Zugarte. So you are one of the fans, Abhijit, that you don't agree with that Ugarte signing. I think Ugarte has been one of the brightest spots for a disappointing season. He had a good Europa League campaign, and I was very disappointed when he did not play the final. Give him some time. If not, he can sit on the bench. I mean, if you have a Ugarte on bench after getting a prime pivot player, would you mind? Why are we so focused on a playing 11? We need a playing 16 for a 17 or 18 man squad for a whole season of Premier League. If we get another option for Ugarte, why not? I mean, it's okay, but I won't sell Ugarte. Ugarte is good enough to play in the Premier League. Wharton Partey, Angelo Stiller is in the conversation with so many clubs. I think he's the one that is Tony Cruz esque. I think Real Madrid might be going for him because they have realized. I think Xabi Alonso will realize that the current crop of players that Real Madrid have, they don't control the possession much. And with Alonso, I think there needs to be a lot more control. So I think, but these are the players I would really go for. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely agree. Sell or get rid of these players, Rashi, Anthony. See, Rex, this is not FC 25 career mode. To sell Rashi, there needs to be a buyer that would match his wages. Can Barcelona match the wage demands? Maybe yes. But if they're going for Luis Diaz, why would they go for Rashford? Now, Anthony. Now, he has done great at Real Betis, right? Fantastic. And he loves Real Betis. The fans, they love him. But does Real Betis have the budget to pay a 40 million? Right now, no. The only team right now in La Liga that has the ability to pay for Anthony, and Anthony would perform really well there, is Atletico Madrid. But will it happen? I don't know. So this is like our players will come back. Sancho is gonna come back. Then he's gonna figure out whom to sell. And it's gonna be such a dreadful window for us. Not just on the player we want to sign, but whom to sell. How are we gonna sell these players? Like who's gonna come for Hoyland right now? That's a problem. Yeah, I've taken this comment. I'm going to take some more comments at this point. Ugarte is not a starter and we paid 60 million. Will be great away at Anfield or Emirates. Etihad to break the plays, but we can't play football because of lack of passing and ball. Yes, we have been very, very pedestrian. I think the players that we have are not understanding the system at all. Like we have been keeping passing the ball between the center backs, and then one long ball just goes into the wing backs, and the success rate of those passes are so. I kind of agree on this statement as well, but yeah. Apart बोल रहे हैं when it comes to Liverpool, if they get Stiller, got Zubimendi, this team would have been gone to a different level. Words is a luxury signing. I mean, they've bettered what they already have. Yeah, I mean, see, Path Words. A lot of people will say he's costed 150 million euros, but with Words, you getting high IQ, that age, that ability, that ceiling. Right now, apart from Musiala, Words is that player that can absolutely create many goals in the final third. I think that's what Liverpool needed the most. I think they realized in the later part of the season that they had dropped down because they cannot give all the responsibility to only Soboslai for creating. I think Soboslai might play second fiddle in the season towards, and Liverpool is going to compete in a lot more competitions this season. I think they are going to go for the Champions League this year. That's why I think they signed them. Pogba ho jaye, no way. No chance. There's no chance. Abhijit, I support Monaco. Fair play. Monaco playing in the UCL. Fantastic season, I would say. I'll take some more comments. I wish our team sacked Addy Hutter. This guy really sucked. Okay, he achieved third with Monaco because of individuals. Otherwise, as a tactician and man management, he sucked. Sadly, he will stay. It's okay. I mean, I think sometimes sticking with a manager is also very, very important. You just can't keep on sacking managers left, right, and center because of one disappointing season. I think there needs to be some continuity. There needs to be some stability. I mean, look at the seasons. Like I'll give you some Premier League examples there. Like Klopp. Like initially when Klopp came to the Premier League, Liverpool played some good attacking football. They were absolutely poor defensively. Does that mean that this is going to continue? No. It takes time to build something stable. And when even with what Arteta is doing, right, the control they have on the game, most of the games, even if they didn't have a striker, they managed to score the I think second highest goals in the league. And and that tells you a lot that if they sign a good striker at this point and a good left winger, we are seeing more goals from Arsenal. So and that whole stability kept on building over the years. So we need to trust that. PL is great, not because of English talents, but because of the underrated signings of the lesser clubs. Absolutely bang on path. I've been saying this that the Premier League clubs are looking to other European leagues to get players into their system, even academies. I mean, everyone is going for like I think South America is the latest new destination. Mastantuano is one player that's absolutely in demand. I'm pretty sure Christopher Vivell, I think he's one of the best scouts that we have in the world. I think very privileged that he's working for United. I think he has done some good scouting in terms of Sekou Kone and in terms of Mastantuono. If we manage to get Mastantuono, it'll be fantastic. But this is a great point, right? Like the British overrated talent. Like look at Liam Delap. Just one season at Ipswich, and he's valued at 30-35 million. His agent is demanding European football. You are coming from Ipswich, who relegated. Just had one season. You didn't even perform that great in the championship as well when you were there. Gyökeres had a better season than you in the championship. And you're demanding 35-40 million euros in transfer fees. And also, I want to choose a club which wants to go to Europe. Piss off, man. Absolutely. And this is exactly the point that the British talents are absolutely overrated. Abhijit Bola, SpongeBob ain't all that words is mild. Absolutely. Pogba at one time had Ballon d'Or credentials. He dropped off. So sorry to see, but Paul Pogba had that ceiling. He had that ceiling. I think we all need to realize that if we have not watched him. Foodie, it was your manager who was in jail or best manager. Okay. That's a good question. I think let me see if I missed out on any other comments. No, I think all good. I think I've taken this comment by part. So yeah, I mean, thanks for all who have joined today's stream. I think I'm gonna show this news once again to everyone that something massive has happened in the transfer market. Right, I'm gonna hide this comment at this point. Yeah, this is the news that is gonna affect a lot of United fans. And if this happens tonight or this week, I think 31st May is the deadline that Al Hilal has given. I'm not gonna blame Bruno. I would still love him. I would still want him to do well, but I want him to play in a top European club and win something big. That's what I would want. If he leaves United, I'm uh not gonna feel sad about it. I think I will be sad, but I won't hate him. I understand. And this, we need to appreciate Scott McTominay, MVP award in Serie A 2024-25, 12 goals and 6 assists. Fantastic goal yesterday against Cagliari. I saw that match. It was fantastic. And what a signing, 30.5 million from United. At least it helped fund Ugarte, but the players who are leaving United are doing well. Potentially, we could see tomorrow Rashford taking Aston Villa to Champions League, Antony winning the Conference League to go play in the Champions League if Real Betis renews the loan, and potentially Sancho as well taking Chelsea into Conference League, and McTominay winning the Scudetto and taking Napoli to the Champions League. Look at this. Look at the stats: 90th percentile on take-ons and 94th percentile in attacking positions. And that's where I would like to say that this player was so misprofiled under Mourinho, under ETH, under Rangnick, also under Ole, because he was been given a job he was not supposed to do. And look what he has achieved right now with Napoli. Thanks for joining the stream. Do subscribe to the channel, and if you have not subscribed to the channel, my Discord, I'll pin the Discord link in the chat, or maybe I'll share it on my Twitter. Do join the Discord server; it will mean a lot. Um, Also, if you haven't checked out my recent video on Ruben Amorim, I have mentioned what went tactically wrong in that game, and also what are the financial implications that, with data, that what financial implications that United faced after not qualifying for the Europa League. It could shape the transfer plans for the next season. So do check it out, and do follow me on Instagram as well. I'm gonna tag all my links on the account. But this was today's live stream, guys. So Bruno might leave, Garnacho might leave as well, based on the recent reports, and Scott McTominay. It's time to celebrate this guy. What a season! Thank you so much for joining. Stay tuned. Thanks for there, and do subscribe the channel. Thank you.